Yo, what's going on, guys? We got the brand new episode of Buy or Bust today. Today we're going to be going over Bruce Banner. Do we think it's a buy? Do we think it's a bust? But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Bruce Banner is the brand new Series 5 card coming out this next week. That is 2 cost, 1 power. That reads the ability as follows. When you end a turn with unspent energy, there is a 25% chance to Hulk out. What exactly is hulking out? Hulking out is when it just turns into the regular Hulk over here. And you'll see actually on screen what happens when it does turn into the Hulk. The animation's pretty interesting. Base Hulk, but I think if you can get it the right way, it could be pretty solid for you. But let's go ahead and talk about the good cards that synergize with this card as well. The first couple cards that do come to mind are going to be, of course, Sunspot, because you're floating energy, you're able to capitalize on having that extra energy. Definitely would work well with Bruce Banner. I think in Magic, having an extra turn to be able to do extra energy things as well, because you'll be playing Hulk hopefully on 2, or Bruce Banner on 2, then playing Magic on 3, and then you turns 4, 5, 6, and then 7 to potentially have your Bruce Banner turn into the Hulk, which also works with High Evo. I think this is why they're in the same Spotlight week. This is the Spotlight variant for High Evo as well. Keeping that in mind prospectively too, gives you Hulk value, She-Hulk value, Sunspot, Cyclops value, a lot of just overall value for floating the energy. High Evo allows you to capitalize. But there's also some good counters for this card as well. So on screen we have, of course, Lady Deathstrike. I say Lady Deathstrike. Not a lot of people are playing Lady Deathstrike, but it does not turn into the Hulk itself. Lady Deathstrike will destroy Bruce Banner before he can turn into the Hulk. You also have Shang-Chi. If it does turn into the Hulk, Shang-Chi, of course, kills the Hulk. And then you have Red Guardian. Red Guardian hitting Bruce Banner as well would make it so his ability does not go off at all. So just thinking of that kind of prospectively is what I'm looking at there. And then let's talk about the good that comes with this card as well. If you guys do plan on getting Bruce Banner, there's a couple things. It's easy to play on curve. You just play it on 2, and then your opponent has to think of this card for the remainder of the game. That's why it's some unpredictable power. Is it going to turn into the Hulk? Is Danger Room actually going to destroy my cards? It's kind of that same kind of coin flip you're thinking of, except it's 1 out of 4 instead of just like a 50-50 of a normal coin flip. And then, like I said, it's a plug-in for High Evo. It just works really well with that kind of card. And it's great for early CL. I see a lot of early collection level playing High Evo, so I think it's good there. Now, talking about the bad for the card, though, you do have to float energy in order for the Hulk to turn into Bruce Banner, so definitely keep that in mind. It does not just naturally turn into the Hulk. You do have to do something for it to turn into the Hulk. It's also unpredictable power in the same sense, like, is it actually going to flip into the Hulk? Because it is 25% chance. It's the same thing with Danger Room. Is Danger Room, going to destroy my card? Is my card going to live? Just thinking about it that way. And it is a targeted card to counter. I'm going to see a lot of Red Guardian things. Kind of just looking at it that way, like people are going to want to counter this card, especially this week. They don't want to have just 12 power appear kind of just out of nowhere. And then I think it is pretty niche to like High Evo. There might be some other options, which we actually do have a non-High Evo list that we're going to be talking about in this video today. But I do think it's kind of more of a niche card. More niche, I feel like, maybe than Doom 2099 or not. Doom 2099 is really solid at the moment. And then let's look at the ceiling and the floor. The ceiling is that Bruce Banner turns on the Hulk. You play him on curve. If you only floated 1 energy, then technically it's like a 3-1 to a 6-12. But it really just depends on what you got going on. So those numbers are subject to change. And I think at the worst case scenario, Bruce never turns into a Hulk. He's just a 2-1. He's got 2-1 on the board, which is just a major feels bad. And then looking at some of these decks over here, we have our first deck, which is going to be so many Hulks. We have Moon Girl to be able to play into the Hope Summers to get you more She-Hulks or potentially more Hulks. It really just depends on what you're messing around with. You have Hope Summers, like I was saying as well. If you play Moon Girl onto Hope Summers, you can float turn 5, and then you can get a She-Hulk for free. Or if you have Magic, you also can just float turn 6 to get She-Hulk for free there. We only have 1 card that is going to hit other cards to afflict negative power onto them, which is going to be Cyclops into Abomination. But if you have the Magic down, you can play your Abomination out on curve, which then if it is afflicted with 2 cards, Abomination is a 3/9 itself. You could add more afflicting cards in this if you would like to as well. Maybe you want to add a Hazmat, or if you want to have like a U.S. Agent or some other affliction cards. But honestly, Abomination being a 3 cost is really solid. Being able to play that power out on curve or even earlier than curve would be really good just to be able to get some Bruce Banner value there too. The next deck we have is going to be another high Evo list, but this one we're going to be using Red Hulk and we're going to be using Scar. We do have taken out the Abomination list itself. We have the Angry Family here. Not relying as much on Cyclops in this iteration of high Evo. But we have Red Hulk and Scar. If your Sunspot gets huge enough too, that's also Scar value. Your Bruce turns into a Hulk, that's also Scar value. So I'm thinking about those lines itself in order to actually capitalize the Scar here, which leads us to our last list here too, which is Raging Tens. So I'm using this as another way to potentially float energy here. You have Zabu for some discounting cards. You have Zero to be able to take off the ability of Atuma or Typhoid Mary. If you turn your Bruce Banner into a Hulk, more often than not, you're going to be winning that lane too, so it gives you some more value for Crossbones to be able to be played on that lane. You have Luke Cage for all the -2 Typhoid in the single lane. So just these are just some rough ideas we have for some potential decks for Bruce Banner itself. I do think it is going to be more of a high Evo kind of niche card, and the Hulk does not get the extra power that normal Hulk does because the Hulk did not start in your deck when it's transformed from Bruce Banner, so it doesn't get the +2. So just keep that in mind as well. And then here is the Spotlight Week we have going on as well. We have Bruce Banner. We have High Evo, which is, it makes sense. They'd want these cards to go together. And we have Ravonna. Ravonna does work with Bruce Banner as well because Bruce Banner is a 2/1. So it would be a 1-cost card with Ravonna because it has 1 or less power to work with her. Which I think the Spotlights overall are okay. Not honestly a huge fan of any of them. The Bruce Banner one, maybe. And I look at strength overall when I go to like High Evo and Ravonna. Ravonna is very flexible and works into a bunch of different lists. Pair that with High Evo. There's a couple different High Evo shells you can run. High Evo is not as crazy as he once was, like when he first came out, because there's also so much Luke Cage going around. Luke Cage is so popular. It's still at the 3 cost. Maybe we'll change it to a 4 cost, like Dance was saying on the Yap this week. Who knows? But I think this week overall, if you don't have High Evo, if you don't have Ravonna, it's a pretty good week to open, I would say. I think Bruce Banner is an okay card, but of course, we'll save the verdict to the end. But I think especially if you're missing High Evo or if you're in an early collection level, I definitely think this is a good card and a good week for you guys to open to be able to get some cards that are pretty flexible and open up different archetypes for you guys. And then looking at the community ratings for Bruce Banner, I feel like not a lot of people are thinking he's a strong card. I mean, there's the strong potential of him turning into the Hulk. Of course, I don't think he gets adjusted either. I don't think the community thinks he gets adjusted. Flexibility, we all probably are leaning towards the High Evo nicheness of this card is what I've been seeing other people say as well. That's why High Evo's in Spotlights this week. So nothing flashy. It's kind of another, not necessarily as boring card as like a Doom 2099. Doom 2099 is a boring good. This is is it going to change? Is it going to change? So you have a little bit of excitement. Is it actually going to, turn from Bruce Banner into the Hulk or not? So thinking about that kind of perspectively, it's not as boring, but I don't think it's also that strong of a card. So I also think this card is a skip. Unless you do not have High Evo and you do not have Ravonna, I would not open this week. I think those are 2 cards that are good to have in your collection if you get Bruce Banner with him. That's actually not bad. But overall, I would probably skip this week and I would save your resources for next week, or especially for January and February. I think those are going to be much better Spotlight weeks and going to have much better cards for you to open there. And of course, final reminders, I want you guys to keep in mind that definitely wait a couple days, see how Bruce Banner actually works in the meta, see what other lists other people have made too, before actually diving straight in. Resources are not for everyone. We don't all have an abundance of resources, so definitely maximizing how you spend your resources. I can be wrong about cards. The communities can be wrong about cards. Sometimes, like it says here, can perform way better than we thought it would perform. But literally just focus on your own resources, what's best for you, how you want to spend them, what do you enjoy playing. Bad cards do get buffed, and good cards do get nerfed. So definitely just keeping all of that in mind when it comes to, especially this week and weeks in the future. But I want to say thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys did stick around to the end, definitely feel free to like, comment down below. Are you guys going to be getting Bruce Banner? And please hit that subscribe button. Until next time, you guys have a good one. Happy holidays. God bless. And Tucker out.